first thing Noonan's doing since this horrific year and the tornado. So hopefully he'll show up and it should be really, really fun then. Call me if you need anything. Call me when you get the second thing about the July 10th thing.
All right.
I'll pause well. Bye.
Okay. Right, volume's on. Okay, speakers.
Good morning.
Good morning. That's a better webcam microphone to use. Well, at least there's no good lighting in my house anywhere, so that's a plus.
Yeah, mine hasn't gotten started yet either. We're still arguing with the insurance company.
Oh,
Well, I got a public adjuster doing it, which also slows things down.
yeah.
They do their thing, State Farm did their thing, and now
Yeah.
I got to start looking for another place to stay while they tear half my roof off to fix the structural damage. Yeah, that's next week.
That's not fun at all. Let me let's see here. Okay, there's
I've been living in the backyard in the trailer.
All right, let me make sure I've got this. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to make my agenda real quick.
Oh, I understand. I have got a Google sign-in form.
Nice.
Well, I meant to use it the last one and I forgot all about it for some reason. So we are going to give that a whirl.
All right. I'm all for giving new ideas a shot. Okay, let's see if this printer actually works this time.
Well, of course, now if we start meeting in person again, it won't matter, but that's okay.
Right, it'll be a lot simpler when we can actually do that. All right, I think it's printing. Network, yep, set to printer. Okay. Hey, I think my printer actually works now again. That's good.
And my husband's got eaten by the storm.
Oh no.
Mm.
Ours just
All
has
his
a-
computer equipment got eaten by the storm. We had to replace it.
Oh. Well, our printer's a network printer and it just has a nasty habit of going, oh yeah, no, it's not on the network anymore, or whatever their laptop goes to sleep or anything. It's
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
Count on computers.
5 p.m. Greenville Street. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go get my pretend agenda and figure out what I just closed. There we go. All right. Yeah, bad lights, major echoes in the room. I'm the perfect guy to host these kind of virtual meetings.
Oh,
Oh,
well, considering everything, nobody cares.
yeah. We got it, and we made it through. We're doing good. Oh, coffee's over there.
Oh yeah, I mean, I haven't had the heart to go down LaGrange Street.
It's still bad. But...
Oh, I have no doubt it is.
But it's getting better. Okay.
Around here, you still hear the sound of chainsaws and nail guns.
Yeah.
And what I'm going to be listening to for the next several months.
Yeah, I know. Well, hopefully it just comes along. What's this getting caught on?
I'm just glad your house wasn't more damaged than it was.
Yeah. No kidding. There we go. That should be a little more stable. Yeah, we got lucky. Now we're just, waiting to see whether USA wants us to do a new roof or just replace the roof or what. And,
Yeah.
figure out like
Yeah.
what they're gonna do with the garage and the shed they got schmacked up. Are we getting anything for those, or is it just kind of like, well, hopefully you can shore up the engineering on that one, Judd. Good luck.
Yeah, I had taken a bunch of pictures, and there's a only beam I can get to that I could see is literally chopped in half and held together. And yeah, it's making me a little nervous at times to live here. You'll hear the house shift, and the crack in my kitchen keeps getting bigger. I'm waiting for that part of the house actually to collapse.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I hope so too. I mean, it's obviously off limits. Nobody's going into the dining room, and
yeah. All right. And there they are. Okay.
I just got back from Savannah, my first trip in over a year.
Oh, yeah, how was that?
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, good. Oh,
Lots of food, lots of walking.
oh, good. Yeah. Well, it is Savannah though. It's nice. Let's see.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm tired. I think I'll sit in one of the squares.
Oh, they don't have a double.
Did I leave my? I don't think I'm awake yet. Pajamas.
Can I do this? Nope. All right. All right.
You.
Good. Good. Fine. Open this up here.
I don't need the recording or whatever from the executive meeting.
Oh yeah, I gotta upload that and get that. It was in person. It was great. We actually had people. I mean, not a ton, but enough.
You get started.
Yeah, we can get this trying at least. That's the important thing.
Yeah, start working on getting back to some sense of whatever normal is.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. I think. Okay, there we go. Sweet. Yeah, and then so I got on the tech committee for DPG, and we had our first meeting Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. The day of the Biden rally. And so like all the people, so all the people in the metro counties couldn't show up. But it was nice to be on a tech committee and not be the most advanced techie guy for once.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
It was good to be somewhere where it's like, oh, y'all are all actually professionals, so I'm not going to have to learn all of this stuff from scratch. This is amazing. I can actually contribute what I'm good at instead of having to learn everything else. This is awesome.
Cool.
But the ideas there that we're pushing and trying to get done with the tech committee are like, if we can make it work, it's gonna change the whole dang national park.
Excellent.
I mean, it's some big ambitious stuff, and it was if what I gathered, it was basically Nikema grabbed Sean Callahan. It was like, hey Sean, you're smart, you're involved, get this done, let's go.
Yeah.
You think you can get this done? And Sean's like, yes, ma'am, because
I don't think we'll say no to
yeah, I'm not gonna say no to you. Okay. So
it was amazing how well the virtual phone banks and stuff went. I mean, I think that should be the norm, because I think you actually do get more people.
Yeah, well, the virtual banks are great. The challenge is just vetting and then just kind of the morale. The virtual banks are great when you don't have a bunch of new people. When you have new people, it helps to do the in-person ones. It's like, it's so frustrating. Yeah, I know, but it's good. You'll get this, and you'll see somebody have a good thing. It's yay. When you're
we'll have to figure out a mixture of things. Do a little bit of both.
Yeah, but But the stuff the tech committee that we're trying to figure out is basically member management side of things. So in the business level organizing, not just, you know, the, hey, we got to go out and, you know, collect cans and do this and all that.
Understood.
Hey, who's a post member here? Okay, hold on. How do I get a hold of them and work on all that? And so like, I think Fulton County, maybe Fulton or Cobb has like 100 something post seat holders on their committee. And it's just this nightmare just a nightmare to keep track of who's where and involved with what and everything else. And it's so, you know, some of it is tailored to that. And then I get the feeling that my big contribution to the tech committee is going to end up being, hey, look, I know a bunch of people who are not really good with computers. So I'm just going to put them in front of this and see what happens.
You'll be the experimental.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, UI UX is super important on something like this because, you know, it's not just going to go to, you know, young 25-year-olds who are born with a cell phone in their hand. It's gonna, you know, go to, you know, retirees who are running their local county party or trying to build it back up in their spare time or whatever. And
Yeah, I worked with a lot of those.
you know, you know, or like, you know, you got Pike and Upson and Meriwether and Lamar counties. And if we can get something that they can use, we've definitely got something that like Fulton can use.
Yeah, because you got to look at the broadband and everything else.
So I think that's probably going to end up being my contribution is how do I make a local version of this on my laptop? I'm gonna go to, you know, these rural counties with no internet. And we're gonna see how this works. And I'm just gonna, I think my going and playing it is going to be just sit them down and say, okay, I want you to try to figure out how to do this. And that's all the instruction they get, you know. And if they can click through it and make it work, then we're in good shape.
Good morning, folks.
Oh, all right. All right, we still got a couple of minutes here, so that's good.
I'm trying an experiment, folks. I'm dropping a link in the chat. That is a Google Docs or a Google Form attendance. So fill that out, and I would appreciate it. A little late since we're going to go back to in-person stuff, but oh well.
Yeah. But we'll be fine. Hooray. That'll be good.
Hello?
Hello, Brenda.
Hi. This is my first time really joining the meeting, and I know I need to pay dues. What do I need to pay my dues?
Bonnie will cover that for you in one of the opening segments, but I'll drop the Act Blue link in the chat here as well, because we do have an Act Blue,
right?
For easy recurring or one times. So let me pull that link up.
Okay.
Bring that up.
All right. Thanks.
Yes, that will definitely be part of the treasurer's report.
Okay.
Yeah, in the you know, I just did a $5 a month, you know, recurring donation for my dues, and works like a champ, pays for me and Jenny and one of my kids, I guess. So, you know, close enough.
And Brenda, if you could fill out the attendance form, that'd be great too. It's in the link.
All right, we'll give people a couple more minutes here.
I will do that. The attendance form is where on the link with the email?
In the chat window, Brenda. So somewhere on the bottom of the Zoom, there should be a chat button, and that'll open up a little chat sidebar. And it should have at least one copy of the link from Cindy. I think she posted it again after you logged in. There's another one.
Okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Zoom's chat is not persistent. So if you log in, your chat room starts blank. So it makes distributing documents and stuff a little tough for.
I've got it.
But yeah.
Cool.
Good.
Thank you. That we'll have a record of you and can add you to my list.
get you on.
Okay.
Make sure. And Brenda, are you getting the email newsletters that we send out?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, I
good.
do.
Okay, cool. Good. We've been trying to get that up and going a little better and getting the organized and going a little better. And it'll be a lot easier when we can get in person again. So. All right, well, we are recording everything anyways, and not a jam-packed meeting today, which is good and bad, I guess. But do have plenty of stuff to cover. So we'll go ahead and get started here. If you will please join me as there we go. Please join me in a pledge of allegiance, and we'll get going. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and thank you for joining us and coming today. It's great to have Brenda. It's great to have you here for your first meeting online. Hopefully next month we can get you to a meeting in person, and it's hopefully a lot more people too. It's a lot more fun that way and a lot more beneficial. All right, so our March minutes, there's going to be a lot of screen sharing here. So here's our minutes from March. I didn't get a chance to email these out because I got lazy and ended up flying and doing all sorts of other stuff. But excuse me, we can take a quick look at these. If you see any corrections that need to be made, we can do them now. We can also just do them later if you see something that comes up. And this is something that hopefully the next month I'll add on to the webpage, is having these minutes for our committee meetings and our general membership meetings readily available. So as soon as we get them, we can take a look at them and start making the corrections if needed. Hopefully it's just typos, but we'll take a look at that. And if you have anything, just bring it up. All right. If there are any changes to the minutes, just unmute yourself and speak up. And if there are no changes to the minutes required, we will consider them accepted and go on once Bonnie gets back. Hey, Murray, welcome to it. Once Bonnie comes back, we'll hit up the treasurer's report, and she'll tell us how great we're doing with money, which is good. And just as importantly, how to pay our dues.
Sorry about that. Doing laundry while I'm in meeting and I decided I'd better close the door to the laundry room.
We're all gonna have to change our habits.
A little bit, it could not be called ambient noise. Financial report, our balance brought forward $8,073.73. We had a total of $70 deposited during the month of April. Our expenses were for our e-commerce account and for our Zoom of a total of $18.95. So balance on hand as of April 26th, $8,124.78. As was mentioned before, we accept dues, donation. Technically, they're donations because they're not a requirement. At any and all times of the year, the suggested amount is $20 per person. We will take anything more or less than that. Chuck alluded to the fact that you can go on ActBlue and have a monthly amount sent every month if you want to spread it out over the year. Chuck, you put in the Act Blue link.
Yep, just dropped it in the chat.
Okay. So you can pay electronically blue, but if you're old school and want to do with a check, you can mail a check to our post office box 276 Noonan 30264. And again, $20 is the suggested amount, but we accept any and all amounts. Every little bit helps. Right now, we don't have a whole lot of expenditures, but we do have local elections coming up in the fall. So while this $8,000 sounds like a whole lot now, the more we have, the more we can do is basically, that's what our finances are, other than, low doing business kinds of things. That's what we spend our money on. Just a heads up, at our committee meeting on Monday evening, we did approve an expenditure of $500 to the Coweta Community Foundation towards tornado relief. Other than elections, that's the kind of expenditure being beneficial to our community through approved and recognized nonprofits that are for the betterment of our community. Any questions?
All right, cool. Said Bonnie brought, or it's not Bonnie, Cindy dropped the attendance form in the chat there. I think mainly for Marie and Marcia that showed up. There's the Act Blue form again. They're in the chat windows because, like I said, Zoom's chat's a little weird. And kind of hopping on what Bonnie was saying, if for those of you who've never done campaign or political treasury expenditure analysis and stuff, the Zoom fee is so that we can do these paid these big meetings, record them, and all that. The e-commerce fees are basically our Act Blue Act Blue fees. Act Blue in Georgia has to send us a physical check for everything. So the donations, when you give $10 to the party via Act Blue, technically you're considered to have donated $10 directly to the party. It's just you're paying the credit card processing fee. Bunch of basic legal terminology to get around it one way or another, but on the user end, it's easy accounting. It's whatever you donate. On the R end, it's easy accounting. It's the total, and then Act Blue calls it an e-commerce fee, but it's basically their processing fee, what keeps them on the books and get go and running. So it's not like we have our own little Etsy store, making Democratic dogs and stuff. Although Act Blue does have a storefront. So that is something.
Yeah, let me say this. Our e-commerce fees are based on the amount of donations, the amount of money that we get. So back in the fall, between the general election and the special elections, we were getting money from all over the country. And so our e-commerce fees during those months were, I won't say significantly because they were still under $20, but they were, they were more than what we're paying now. Under normal circumstances, it's like less than $10 a month. This month it was $3.96. So, that those fees are like Chuck said, it's analogous to a merchant paying the processing fee for a credit card.
All right. All right, Matt, thanks for joining us here today. Hopefully everything went well Monday night for you. Any other questions for the treasurer? Going once, going twice? No, cool. And again, as elections heat up, especially next year, we're probably going to see an influx of donations again, because being registered on Act Blue as a Georgia county political party, they have conglomerate donation boxes where you can give $20 to all the county parties in Georgia, or just $20 to Georgia in general. And that gets farmed out among a lot of the state level groups like us. And so if Georgia is on the receiving end of say $1 million in donations just to the general county committees of Georgia, that's going to be a significant amount of money that's going to be coming to us as well as Fulton and everywhere else around. Right now, all of that's distributed just straight evenly, which is good. Fulton County's big enough they can do their own fundraising and do good there. Anyway, okay, on to some stuff that we've got going on here. Like Bonnie mentioned, we've got local elections coming up. One of the groups that's helping with that is a organization called Contest Every Race. And Contest Every Race is working with the Democratic Party of Georgia to, I'm going to pull this up here in a second. They're working with the Democratic Party of Georgia to identify people who need to run or should run for our local municipal races. Those are coming up in November of this year, and Contest Every Race has made a database of everything for all the races that are in Coweta County that are municipal races. So these are your city council, your city post seats, all that. They've got who's there, what district, partisan score, low numbers are likely Republican, high numbers are likely Democrat, and then the primary voting history for that district as long as they can get it. If you are not in Noonan and you know that you have a good city council member on one of these posts that's up for election, that is either a quiet Democrat or an actual Democrat or whatever the case is, let me know so that we can, because we can go in and say, yeah, let's not target this race and try to find somebody. If you know somebody in any of these areas who has thought about running, who thinks is considering running, anything like that, we can either let them know directly in the notes here or have them get a hold of Contest Every Race. What Contest Every Race, stop screen sharing there, what Contest Every Race focuses on is just getting people on the ballot. And what they're going to do is they're going to send them a text message and say, hey, do you still want to run? If they say yes, we're going to set up a Zoom meeting with me where we can talk about what it takes to run, what kind of support they can expect, what city councilmen are going to do, all that sort of aspects. And then if they still want to continue, Contest Every Race is going to have a program of about 20 text messages over 6 weeks, helping them get on the ballot, telling them, reminding them of the filing dates and when it's open and when the filing areas are taking their lunch breaks and all that kind of stuff, so that they can get them on the ballot. Once they're on the ballot, it's a little bit of you're on your own. Tom's ran for local office. Tom, were you with Run for Something or get any support from any of those other groups when you ran for your state house seat?
No, not really.
Okay.
Mostly just the indivisible groups with South Atlanta Progress, and I did get a little bit from Indivisible Third.
Okay.
Coweta Democrats.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So the race I ran was outside the purview of most of these groups. Contest Every Race and Run for Something, they're focused on state level and lower races. But basically Contest Every Race gets them on the ballot, and then Run for Something kind of does a little bit of that middle help to get from, okay, you're definitely running, here's how you can set up a campaign, here's what you need to consider and go with that. Both of those groups and a couple others are working with the Democratic Party of Georgia. So these are legit organizations that are doing a lot of good work. And Contest Every Race has found two really important things. The first thing they found is that their program works. When they text people, they actually do a control group where a small percentage of people that they initially text don't get the full 20 text message system. And the people that get the full program are much more likely to run, much more likely to succeed. So their program works. The other thing they found is something called reverse coattails. We're familiar with the coattails concept where, say Freddie Freeman decided to run for governor on the Democratic ticket, super popular, everybody likes Freddie. He goes out there, he's going to help bring up some votes for people that are that may not have considered voting. Same thing with our former president. He ran and nobody liked him, so he kind of drugged down the whole dang ticket, including 2 Senate seats, which we took and won back probably a cycle early, which is great. The reverse coattail effect is more that if you have people running for these local elections, your city councils, your county commissions, all those on the bottom of the ballot, it brings out Democrats that otherwise wouldn't have voted. And it brings out people that otherwise wouldn't have voted. And then you're adding about 12,000 Democratic votes per county, or 12,000 Democratic votes per county through these reverse coattails effect. That's, if you look at the numbers from the last election, is that enough to flip Coweta County? No. Is it enough to flip some of these county commission seats? Maybe, if they're really concentrated. Is it enough to keep Raphael Warnock in the Senate and put Stacey Abrams in the governor's mansion? Absolutely. And that's the thing. If we can get people to run all the way down the ticket, it's going to boost turnout and boost the top of the ticket by enough to make the difference. And right now, with Georgia being a purple state, our DNC chair thinks it's going the way of Virginia very soon, which would be great. But these next couple of elections are going to be a fight, and we'll need every single vote we can get, not just because of SB 202, which is going to try to keep us from voting, but also just because even absent that, these are going to be very contested, very expensive, very high money races that are run over the next few cycles. And having people run and getting out there and getting involved in every race that we can is going to be the single best way we have to boost turnout. And one of the ways that this matters was shown, hey Bethany, was really showed off the other night at our city council meeting, where we voted 4-3 to not authorize some affordable apartment housing that would have put up housing for about 400 different units, and these were apartments that would start below $900. So these are for the people that we need to come and live and work in Noonan, people that are going to be working at the Yamaha facility that just announced hiring, or people that work at the hospital. The city council voted it down. One of our city councilmen decided that he didn't think we have a crisis, and was so offended by the thought of someone saying that we have a housing crisis that he voted against authorizing housing for people to live in. City council elections are in November. These elections matter, and just as importantly, like Bonnie alluded to, $8,000 is not a lot of money when you're looking at, hey, can we buy TV time in Atlanta? $8,000 is a lot of money though, when for the Noonan City Council specifically, you can win by just turning out Democratic primary voters. And $8,000 is enough to reach every Democratic primary voter 2 or 3 times. So this makes a big difference, but it only happens if we have candidates. So again, if any of your neighbors, any of your friends are thinking about running in, let me pull up the Coweta map real quick. This is where it is. Yeah, in Coweta, it's, there we go. Coweta, it's District 2 that's open. So this purple district here is going to be up for election this year. 2 seats plus the mayoral seat. That's enough to flip the entire city council, but we got to have people running. So if you know anyone who wants to get involved, who has said, hey, things are bad, this is terrible, we're going the wrong way, and they live in District 2, they need to run for city council. If they care about the people that live in Coweta, they are already more qualified than a lot of the people already on the council. And that's all it takes, is just the ability to run. It's a nonpartisan election. Most of these are, but that doesn't mean we can't get involved. It just means you don't put Democrat on the ballot, which is awesome because it gives us a much better fighting chance. But we as a party will still go out. If we have Democrats running for these nonpartisan seats, we will absolutely support them and give them the resources they need to run and to win and to turn out the vote. And that's how we make these little changes and how we make things a little bit better for everybody. So again, we've got it. If you know anyone that's running, have them go to contest every race and get involved with them. Their program works. If they want to run at state level officer or lower, contact the people that Run for Something. Their program helps too and works. And let's fill out those ballot seats. Kind of speaking of that, if you are interested in where our tax dollars have been going, we have a East Lost informational meeting are coming up this coming week are the last two. There's one on Tuesday at 6:30 at the Wadsworth Center downtown, and one at the Black Box Theater at the Nixon Center, which has a new Black Box Theater, on Thursday at 6:30. So these are going to be informational sessions about what's happened with East Blost 4 and East Blost 5. And we probably won't see a new East Blost until coming up probably next year. Since East Blost 5 is still authorized and still in the books. If you just moved here or aren't aware of what the East Blost is, that's our voluntary 1 cent sales tax. It's not voluntary, I guess it's tax. But anyway, it's the 1 cent sales tax that the voters approved. So in that sense, voluntary, I guess. Anyway, 1 cent sales tax, and it goes towards education work. So the buildings, the improvements, we're going to need a lot of help probably for Noonan High and rebuilding Atkinson from the tornado. But I don't know if that'll come from an East Blost or something else. But that's kind of what it goes to, is making our facilities better, making our technology better, the infrastructure for those schools, and improving that. And if you want more details, like I said, those last two meetings are coming up this week on that. All right, some vaccine stuff. We have good news. We are actually vaccinating everybody, and that's great. So here's our current lineup on how we're doing as far as cases go. So this goes from about September, mid-September of last year to today. This big splot in the middle is our holiday spike, where everybody went and saw their family and got infected. And we've been on a nice steady decline since. And here we are today. What the CDC would like to see is that 7-day moving average going from 8 to a little bit below 7. That would give us on average about 50 cases, 50 cases per week, and that would put us in that low transmission or low risk of transmission area. That's ideally what we want to see. The good news is you can see we had a little bit of a bump, but it's kind of tapering off. A lot of states and a lot of areas are seeing this kind of mid-April surge, and in areas that are, having a better job of vaccines, it's blunted, and that's good, and that's what we can expect to see from the vaccines that are working here. Hopefully, it keeps coming down. For our vaccine, there's our vaccine dashboard. For our vaccines, Coweta County is doing okay. We've got a fourth of us have taken at least one shot. 20% of us, including me, are fully vaccinated, and all of your Coweta County Democratic Committee members are fully vaccinated at this point. So that's great. That's what we want to see. And these numbers are for the full population, not just for adults. We have, there we go. The Georgia vaccine dashboard, we've got a very high number of our 65 and older contingent vaccinated. These are percentage numbers, but as you can see, it's trying to get our midlife and young people, getting them out there, getting their shots. This is the challenge. So when you're talking with your friends, and make sure to encourage them to go get their vaccines and get their shots. If they need more encouragement, the CDC, let's see, do I have this one up? Nope. Okay. Anyways, the CDC the other day just released new mask guidance. Basically, if you are fully vaccinated, if you're indoors, you should probably wear a mask, but you can still close talk. And if you're outdoors at a concert or at a Georgia football game where you're crowded, shoulder to shoulder with everybody, you should be wearing a mask. Otherwise, if you're outside and you're fully vaccinated, there's no need for a mask. It's not gonna. Being outside helps tremendously with reducing transmission. And so if you're fully vaccinated and you're outside, you're probably pretty safe, and that's good to hear. If you're inside and you're wearing a mask and you're fully vaccinated, you're actually not. You're pretty safe, and that's good too, because that means we can open back up. We can start doing all of the other activities we want to do. For unvaccinated people, it's still really dangerous out there. It still can, still a very bad virus out there. So get people to help. And if you know someone who tells you, well, I don't know where to get a vaccine, if they speak English, have them text their zip code to GetVax, GETVAX. Or if they speak Spanish, have them text their zip code to Vacuna, VACUNA. Those are two new text lines set up by the Biden administration. And you text your zip code to those, and they tell you, hey, here's where vaccines are available. right now. And most of them will give you a link to CVS's or Walgreens or wherever pharmacies have vaccines ready to go. And you can probably get one same day. So they're out there, they're great. For Jenny and I, we ate our second shots. We had a sore arm and a headache for about 12 hours. And that was it. So they're safe, they're effective. Hopefully everybody on this call has had theirs. And if we can get everybody else doing it, you know, hey, everything's going to get a lot better on that. One of the outdoor activities that's going on today is actually going on today. Arts in the Park locally is run by Paulo Manso de Souza. If you don't recognize that name, you probably at least recognize Southern Art Dance Studio, which is where we have our meetings. Paulo and his partner Will, their husband, yeah, they're married. Paulo and Will put on, don't just run Southern Art Dance, they run a charitable organization that brings the arts out and brings it to everybody they can. Their Arts in the Park program that they try to do every spring is going on today at 5 p.m. out at the Greenville Street Park. So if you've gotten your vaccine and you want to go outside and flaunt your masklessness safely, then go out and head over to Arts in the Park, support Paulo. They've got 25 different arts groups coming out and doing stuff. And it's also good because, like I said, they give us their space for a very reasonable donation price so that we can have our in-person meetings. It's a great space. It's nice, it's spacious, and we should be going on to that soon. In fact, so the Democratic Party of Georgia wants people to try to resume in-person meetings late June, early July is what they were looking at. Our July meetings are usually preempted by the parade, which may just be preempted by the holiday this year. But we're going to try to have an in-person meeting next month in June, June 6th, I believe, and try to meet in person. Right now, the plan is to, or June 5th. Thank you, Bonnie. Math in public, it's hard. So we're going to try to have our in-person meeting. That's right, because the first is a Tuesday. Anyway, we'll have our in-person meeting. Hopefully it's Southern Art Dance. If not, we'll have it somewhere. I'm going to sort that out probably Monday. And we're going to be able to meet in person again. If you are fully vaccinated, absolutely come. If you are not vaccinated, you have a full month to get your vaccination. So when we get off this call, go ahead and text your zip code to get vaxxed and get your shot so that you can show up. Ideally, if everybody's fully vaccinated, it's going to be a lot more safe. Do bring a mask though, because it is open to the public. Unfortunately, there's nothing that technically we can do to really stop a crazy anti-vaxxer truther from coming in, showing up, and and being a nuisance until the meeting starts and they're disruptive, and then we can kick them out for breaking Robert's rules. But until then, hey, they can show up, and we don't know what everybody's gonna have. So get your vaccines, bring a mask, and plan to be in person in June, and it's going to be great. And we're going to get our get going and get some elections going there. And kind of the last thing before we open up here to what's on your mind and discussions is kind of the local leadership churn. We've had a lot of changes locally recently since the last time we were able to get together. So in late March, I was elected chair for the 3rd Congressional District for the Democratic Party of Georgia. That gives me direct oversight over 10 of the counties in the 3rd Congressional District. And it puts me back to running the circuit of going to the county committee meetings and the general meetings for the 13 counties across the 3rd Congressional District. The redistricting report came out. Georgia did not gain or lose a seat. So I kind of expect those districts to stay more or less the same. There's probably going to be some attempts at consolidating the 6th and the 7th to make Bordeaux and McBath fight it out. But even that's going to be difficult to do without making it look really bad to the feds. But anyway, so 3rd Congressional District is probably going to stay the same. I'm going to be running around doing a lot of the same, local elections matter work, building that up. I was talking to Cindy about this earlier. DPG just started a tech committee. And while we can't talk too much about what we're trying to do, if it works, it's going to change the DNC. I think with the ambition and the scope we're looking at, and it's a project that is probably only doable in Georgia because we have a Senate race next year. We have Stacey Abrams probably running for governor. We have a lot of money pouring in at the state level, which gives us the resources to kind of do these big dream moonshots. I'm involved with that, and I expect as we start getting a product that's out there and usable for not just the state committee, but for the county committees, I'm probably running around selling that in beta testing that with everybody. So the demands of my time have gotten a lot. So I'm going to have to, unfortunately, step away from this chair position. Our first vice chair, Heather Gay, has had to step away from her chair position. She's still going to remain on the committee, but she's unable to make any of these Saturday meetings, and doesn't think it's a good idea for one of our vice chairs and officers to basically never be at a meeting. So she's going to be stepping away from that. And then the dean of Coweta County, Dennis Thompson, is making a life decision to go ahead and take a step back from the stress and the rigor and the grind of all of this that he has put up with for 50 years, organizing strikes at Eastern Airlines and running this committee and getting it back on its feet and keeping the rest of us in line while we're doing everything, sorting through the complexities. He's our not just our leader and our parliamentarian, but a friend of everybody on this committee, and he is 100% earned his retirement. At the same time, his stepping back does leave another void in our committee. So if you or someone wants to get involved and make this party better and lead us into the next, really lead us in through this coming decade, now's the time to get in. Districts haven't been drawn yet, but they're going to be redrawn soon. We're going to need a committee that is dedicated to winning these elections and doing the work that it's going to take to build out the party and also to start really competing and winning in these local elections. DPG, we're here, we're going to be helping, we're going to be trying to do all that. I'm not going away and disappearing. You might not see me as much at the meetings because I'll be bounced around to other counties too. But I'm still going to be here working behind the scenes with our committee, with our chairs to smooth things over and make sure that we have good functioning, smoothly working committees. So if we do that at the county level, like we talked about earlier with reverse coattails, it really pays off at the state level and at the federal level for these races. So with that, at our next committee meeting on June 1st, excuse me, we're going to be having elections for a new chair and a new first vice chair for the Coweta County Democratic Party. If you want to be on the committee, contact myself or Cindy or Bonnie or anybody else on the committee, and we'll start working through that process. It's okay if you miss the elections or whatever. Dr. Matt Bodie is also on the committee. You can talk to him. You can talk to Dennis about what it takes and what goes on. The main thing is it's just an extra meeting each month, and you get to vote and decide on what we're going to spend our money on, what direction we're going to go in, and what kind of activities we want to pursue as a party. It's complete, the county parties are not driven by one person. It's driven by the membership, and it's driven by everybody involved. Being the chair is a great opportunity, and it's a great responsibility. But ultimately, the chair is there to help guide discussions, guide the directions, give some input from the DPG leadership, and then when the members of the party say, "No, this is what we want to do," the chair says, "All right, cool, let's go execute and let's make it happen," and help find the resources to make that work. So without people wanting to be involved in the committee and being involved with the party, we don't have anything. And you don't have to have some amazing personality or some incredible skills or all these political connections or anything like that to be involved in the committee. You just have to want to help us and just want to help advance the Democratic Party in Coweta County. So if you're willing to do that, please get in touch with one of the committee members so that we can get you on the committee. And if you have been a committee member before, or if you just have that relevant experience that is unique and think would make you a good fit for leadership on the committee, get in touch with us, and we'll see what can happen from there. But there will be some vacancies opening up, some changes, just because that's one of the only constants we have. But each of those changes brings opportunities and brings us new chances to connect with the members of our community in ways we haven't done before. It gives us new opportunities to find new ways to get candidates, new ways to win these elections, and new ways to get involved and make Georgia better. And that's what we're here for. That's what we're here to do. And that's all the things that I had that we need to really, get into the weeds and talk about before we can meet in person again. What do y'all have? What do y'all want to talk about? Just unmute yourself and start talking if you need to. All right, well, I'm still seeing a whole bunch of muted microphones, which is cool enough, I guess.
I'm thinking.
Dr. Ben, how'd your interview go on Monday? We gonna be adding Dr. Principal Matt to you here soon?
Short answer is I don't know. I was called back for the second round interview on a Thursday.
All right.
So I made it to the second round. We'll find out. I don't think I'll get it, but at least it gets my name and face out there. So if and when the next school comes open, I can be on the short list, hopefully.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Getting to the second phase of any interview. Yeah. Good. Well,
we'll see. I'll shoot you an email.
Yeah. Good. Well, let us know. We're hoping, we're pulling for you. So.
I have a question.
Yes, Marcia.
The article in, I think Wednesday's paper about the election bill, I know we can respond as individuals to that, other than wanting to rip the paper up. We wouldn't consider doing something as a committee to respond to that, or what's the best way to do that? Do you know what I'm saying, in terms of they minimized what the bill was all about, obviously. And if it's a 98-page bill and they've got one page in the newspaper, and it's like just like I said, minimized every aspect of that. I just wondered what we can do as a committee member or as a group in terms of responding to that. It just seems like we need to do something.
Yeah.
That's just a personal opinion.
Yeah. So a couple things with that, and this is one of the things that we probably need to take a look at, or could take a look at with the future for the committee. And again, this is coming from someone who is a 20+ year federal bureaucrat. It is the weirdo who digs into bureaucracy and loves it. It's the committee can authorize somebody else to write letters and respond and do that on behalf of the committee. We haven't really explored what that would look like yet. I think partially because none of us are prolific enough letter writers, to really go into that. But that's what it would take to put to sign it, the Coweta County Democratic Party, and send it to the paper. But as far as individuals, we actually encourage you to do that, to write the letters back, to contest them. Dennis has done that time and time again for us in the past. And done that. Cole McSpadden's another Democrat who routinely writes in to try to counter the narrative on that. So we absolutely encourage our members to do that. If that's something that you would want to do on a more regular basis, honestly, we could bring it up to the committee, and the way that would probably end up working, just with the infrequency of the committee meetings, is the chairs and the vice chairs would probably call together and be like, hey, let's say Marshall, let's say you were the designated letter writer for the committee. The vice chairs and chair would basically get together and be like, hey, do we need someone to counter this? Should we have Marshall do this? Yeah, okay. and then call you and say, hey, Marcia, can you write a letter saying this? Just, send us a copy before we publish it. And it would probably just, be something like that. Just a quick eyes on by the chair and the vice chair before they could do that. And I know we've done that in the past, Bonnie. Go ahead.
Let me say this, my perception, and that's exactly what it is that Clay Neely is more receptive to letters from individuals without a tag added to it, because if he publishes too many things that has the Coweta Democratic Party attached to it, then he's going to be, again, this is my perception, having dealt with him, is that he's trying to balance that beam of, being, neither too liberal or too conservative. And if he publishes too many things with Democrat attached to it, then he's going to be less likely to publish it. Whereas he's going to be, because he doesn't publish everything that gets sent to him. Whereas if it's sent to him from private citizen Marcia Avery with no organization attached to it, it's more likely to get printed, and more likely to get printed completely. Other, because when I sent him one, he would send it back and say, this is too long, and I would revise it. Whereas I have seen where if it's been from an individual, there have been letters that were 3 times as long as the letter that I sent. So having said all of that, in a roundabout way, is private citizen in Noonan carries more likelihood of getting printed than Coweta Democrat Party.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a lot of that is, Clay and Beth. Like Bonnie said, they're much more receptive to our views than their predecessors. But at the same time, they are running a business. They are trying to sell newspapers, and 70% of their subscribers probably are, diehard Republicans. So yeah, if they become known as the Democrat paper, then their business is going to suffer a lot. And more importantly, we do need a local paper. We would be hurt a lot more by that. So like Bonnie said, write them, put your name on them. Don't put Democratic Party on them, and you're fine. And sound off and be loud. Their collection of letters they receive, they do not publish, is quite colorful.
Yeah, let me say this to Marcia, that Al and I have collaborated on a letter again, because Al, as county commissioner, he and I collaborated on it. My name was the only one that was attached to it. So if so I say this, that if you want to write a letter and you want some collaboration or somebody to read it over, we gladly will do that, help each other out with wording or whatever, whatever it is, if you want some assistance, the help is there.
Yeah. All right, please ignore the screaming children in the background of my house if you hear that.
Children are lovely.
I don't know what's going on. I think they're probably
Other people's children are lovely.
They're probably being told to pick up their clothes or something. I don't know. It's maybe they just saw the highlight of Freddie Freeman striking out to Anthony Rizzo. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, we got at least one other baseball person here, so that's good. All right, what else? Because next time we're going to be yelling at each other in person. It's going to be great, and I really am looking forward to that, because it's so much easier to run a meeting that way. Anybody else got anything, concerns, comments, stuff that we need to hit on before next month? If there's nothing, we can entertain motions to adjourn or motions to do anything else for that matter, because it's open time. But I do need a movement to adjourn before I can adjourn because I can't technically do that. Okay, so everybody, do we have a second? Cindy, wave your hand around. Yeah, let's see what from Cindy. All right, all those in favor of adjournment signify by giving a thumbs up or saying aye. Any opposed to adjournment? Nope. All right, cool. Thank you all again for coming. I'll try to post this up as quickly as I can so we can share it with everybody. Like I said, we're going to be meeting in person next time. It's going to be great. Until then, if you want to run for something or know someone who does, get them in touch with Contest Every Race. If you want to get involved locally or know someone who does, have them talk to us, any of the committee members, or email chair.kawinadems@gmail.com, and then pay your dues and sign in if you haven't already signed in. Thank you all for coming. I'm going to go check on my kids.
And nice to meet you, Brenda.
I'm just going to leave this open for a couple minutes.